Welcome to the Creativity Project, where we chat with all types of creatives from all over the world. I'm your host, Ben Hudak, and I'm on a mission to learn about how people express themselves, what drives people to be creative, and hopefully even get a little inspired ourselves.
My name is Ben Hudak, and I'm here with
Mr. Vic Lalli.
Mr. Vic Lalli.
Yeah.
And we have a kind of an interesting relationship, I think. Like, people, I'll go, oh, I'm going to go see Mr. Vic. They go, who's Mr. Vic? And I'm like, well, he's my friend, my music teacher. I like the way you explain it.
I could be your pa. Goodness gracious. No, you're my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically it now.
So
it's great.
Yeah. Do you remember all the way back then when we met? I remember when we first met.
No, I only remember the pictures that your mother took.
Yes,
when we were in music together classes. I don't remember you as a person running around and banging on something, and I don't even remember you as a student when you were really little, like 5, 6 years old. Only from pictures, And then you did a recital. Well, you did like an open. Not an open mic either. You did what do they call it?
It's like a talent show?
Yeah, talent show.
Yeah.
So your mom has a video of that talent show. And I remember seeing that. And then I remember working with you when you were an older kid, working on some piano stuff.
Yeah. So we met through music together.
Yes.
Which is we'll talk a little bit more about actually what that is later. But right now I'm going to simplify it into 2 words. I'm going to say music circle. There's a lot more that goes into it. That's such an oversimplification. But yeah, we're hanging out, we're making music. There's a few kids and their parents. And Mr. Vic, of course, was my music together teacher when I was, what?
2.
Not even, I think, right? Maybe even younger than that.
18 months, right?
Yeah, and we did a couple years of that. And then I started taking private lessons. We started with guitar. And then we moved to piano, and then back to guitar, and then saxophone and drums and bass, and which I can appreciate because I have a very low attention span, I think, most of the time. But you sort of helped me lean into that, and
I think I made it okay for you to just do whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah,
that's really kind of the approach that I take privately, and we are in my studio right now, actually, and I've had kids all day today, and I've struggled with my own. I'm always second guessing my own approach about things, but it's always come back to allowing a young child the freedom to explore. And for 2 reasons. One, it's just makes sense to kind of let kids play different instruments, but it also makes them feel like they're free to do it, and when you're free to play, I think instead of instructed, it's that whole music together approach. So it was always about that we're not teaching, we're facilitating, we're helping people, parents, kids, play with music, and experiment with it and feel comfortable with it. Because a lot of people, especially adults, don't feel comfortable, but I'm sure, I know you feel comfortable with music.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah, right. And I've had so many moms and dads after, a couple of sessions, they say, boy, I'm really so much more musical having been in this class. These are parents, So I think that's that approach is freedom to do what you want to do within the boundaries of music, So I think that's why it works. And I probably had you start on piano, and then a kid who's 5 or 6 years old can only play guitar for about 5 minutes anyway, because their fingers start hurting.
Oh yeah, I remember the early days. That was not fun.
Yeah,
but So
you were free to do that, and then you got older, and then my goal always, also another side thing, is to help kids read music. So I really wanted you to be. My goal all the time is to get kids to read piano music, 2-hand piano music. You can just sit down with anything, look at it, and just play it. And that didn't quite work with you.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I just didn't think that was fun.
Yeah,
but I realize how important it is. The people where. I mean, they make a lot of money. The people who can just sit down at a piano, somebody throws a score in front of them, they go, boom.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane, and that's such a great skill to have, and it's so boring to learn most of the time. But yeah.
It's how to make it a challenge, I guess, is the challenge. How to make it a challenge and make it seem like a challenge. Because even these two little kids I had today, the little guys, I'm just explaining the staff to them. Mm-hmm. And, there are lines and spaces on the staff. It's still right there, And this is a line note and this is a space note. And this is a line note and this is a space note.
Well, I remember our first piano lesson where we took the business cards and folded them in half and put them over the two black keys, the D for... And this piano that I'm touching right now.
Same one. It's the same Yamaha piano.
Crazy.
Yeah. Awesome.
There you go. That's everything I learned.
Our friend Jeff was here yesterday. We did our Smile Mass, Friday Smile Mass down here. And he's going...
Yeah, well, Jeff's crazy. He's really good.
It's a funny. I would like to know. I mean, I know some of his background, but he's not a very schooled musician. You ask him to read. He couldn't read 2-hand piano music.
Okay.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah. If you gave him a score, a Bach 2-part invention, definitely couldn't do that. Neither can I. But he's a great pianist, so he's got a great ear and he tunes pianos. So it's just fun to, I'll talk to him. I was talking to him about modes, Aeolian, Phrygian, Locrian, Dorian, and all those different modes. And he was somewhat aware of them, but he wasn't really, that's not where he played from,
So he's a jazz musician, but he's not super into the modes.
He's not super into understanding how he does it.
I see. That's cool.
Part of how he said he started was his dad was a pianist and he used to sit on his dad's lap. And he does it by visually seeing different things, different keys, black keys, white keys, and he does it that way. And sound by, he knows the sound. It's kind of the way I play guitar too. It's probably the way you play guitar. We kind of...
Shapes.
You may not know that that's a... if you have that D shape up on the 7th fret, I can't tell you what note that is, chord that is, but we know it goes with this one. We know it goes with that one. So,
and that works. That's a totally...
He does that with piano. Yeah, my goal for everybody is really to try to read really well. I love the piano bars, the dueling pianos. Well, they have bars like in Boston and all over the place where they have 2 grand pianos facing each other.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and one pianist sits here and the other pianist sits here, and they say, play me a Billy Joel tune. And this guy goes, he plays Root Beer Rag, and the other guy plays, Just the Way You Are, completely 2 different songs, but both really good. And, and then the audience votes on who's the best pianist,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to check that out.
Yeah.
No, we need more fun stuff like that around here.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's rewind real quick.
Sure.
I met Mr. Vic when I was about 1 or 2 years old in this music together class, this music circle class. And I ended up taking private lessons with him, doing a little bit of piano, a little bit of a guitar, a little bit of running around and just banging on stuff. And then I started teaching music together. So I signed up for the training and now I'm teaching the same songs that he sung to me, but to new little kids.
Right.
And sometimes it's alongside Mr. Vic, sometimes it's all over the world, but it's been really cool. And so now we just sort of like hang out.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, who knows? I mean, I followed you through college, that was a great school that you went to.
Yeah, Suffolk's awesome.
Yeah, to give you that entrepreneurial kind of spirit. And then your professors sounded great, when you were in Peru. Yeah, and that gave you the spirit to do other things. And then you did a semester in Spain. Or
I
did
a
class in Spain.
I just
or a couple
did
of weeks.
A month in Spain. Yeah, 4 weeks.
So where's your interest in other cultures come from?
Well, I think part of it's just internal. I'm just really interested in. I remember when I was 13 years old, so 8th grade, and I had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right, from Australia. Not just from Australia, but living in Australia. And for some reason, 13-year-old Ben decided that he would talk to this girl every day for 2 months. And so that was the first time I realized, I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on there?
With you?
But when I was 15, I started working at the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, that's
downtown.
what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was a really big influence on me. It introduced me to the not just Latin American and Spanish culture and music and language, which it did, and obviously, that's something that I'm a big fan of, but also just the idea that there's so much more out there, that we're not exposed to every day.
Yeah.
And so that's something I really want to take advantage and learn more about.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, a lot of people in general, I think, when they hear another language, it's different, so they avoid it. But you're like attracted to it.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of criteria of where I want to, live. If we're going to live, spend time, whatever, for the next, chunk of my life, few years or whatever. And one of my criteria is I really don't want it to be an English speaking country. I don't care. I mean, it'd be ideal if they speak Spanish, but whether it be Portuguese or Italian or Russian or something, I think it's really, it's neat. It's new and fun. Yeah. Maybe I won't be going to Russia anytime soon, but no, maybe not.
No.
Poland? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Too cold. Go someplace warm.
Yeah. But I think for me, the biggest appeal to other countries and other cultures, other than the food, of course, is the music.
Yeah.
And just like how maybe with language, we're living in an English speaking country that's even debatable, but our town at least is mostly English speaking.
Yeah.
And
how you grew up.
Yeah. My favorite part about different countries and different cultures is the music.
Yeah.
Just like language, we're so sort of trapped in this one bubble, but there's so much more out there. It's the same way with music, and even with music theory. I mean, Western music theory, which for a while I thought is just like the laws of physics. Like this is the rules that apply everywhere, and it's a way of explaining it. But even that doesn't apply when you go to Spain and you listen to flamenco music, or when you go to Africa and listen to the African drumming.
Or you go to Turkey and you go to Istanbul.
Or Indian music theory is really cool too. Because, so we use the 12-tone equal temperament scale, right? Where you take an octave and you split it up into 12 equal pieces. Yeah. But then I don't know a whole lot about this, but from my understanding, in India, it's based on the harmonic series. So you have the fundamental, you have the major third, the fifth, the major
right, the
seventh,
fifth, the fourth, right.
Is it the fifth, the fourth?
Yeah, the fifth, the fourth, the major third, the minor third, the second. Yeah, harmonic series. You're a saxophone player, so you wouldn't completely have.
I should know. That stuff.
No. But there's no. It comes from. That's how That's how brass instruments work.
Yeah.
So when you blow a trumpet, which is over here. The first thing you get is the C, and if you blow it a little faster, a little harder, you get a fifth G, and then you get a fourth, and then you get a major third, and then you get a minor third, and then you get a minor third again. That would be a high B flat, but yeah. I love those things. I mean,
so I was just about to say, I remember you explaining to me this principle. I didn't really understand it, but I remember you explaining it with...
coming with this circle thing where you shake it. Did you ever see one of these things before?
Yeah, you showed it to me.
Oh, did I have one?
I think so.
Oh, okay. And it makes a sound. It goes.
Yeah, it's like a big tube.
Yeah, right.
It's like an accordion tube kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know where they are. I mean, I'd love to find one. I should have one in here.
No, it's cool because it's really... Well, actually, I think the example you explained to me back in the day was you have a tree that's hollow on the inside. It maybe has a little hole, and the wind will blow by, and I'm like...
Yeah.
And then if it blows faster, go... or whatever that interval
is. Yeah.
And so, but if you take the first 4 or 5 notes, you get something pretty close to a major 7 chord.
Yeah,
which just proves that this whole science, this whole music theory that we've sort of invented really does exist without humans thinking about it. It really exists in nature, whether we call it what it is or not.
Right. People say that music was here before man was here.
I believe that. Yeah.
The first flutes. Somebody just asked me this question the other day. What was the oldest instruments ever found? And I believe there were flutes made out of bone. And I thought it was 40,000 years ago, but maybe I just have that wrong. But there were bones, and but even before that, so that was when, I don't know, Neanderthals or whoever they were came out. But even before that, I mean, if you think of the wind blowing through trees, you're going to get a sound in there, and occasionally, or birds chirping. And, owls hooting. You know, it's really amazing.
That's pretty cool.
I know it.
And oh yeah, so we're talking about. Wow. Boy, this is going to be fun. On the theme of different types of music in different countries, different cultures.
Yeah.
Another big thing.
Well, I asked you what you were attracted to. I asked you what got you attracted to other cultures.
See, I'm trying to link this to music. You know, part of the reason that I'm interested in countries, different cultures, and the music that goes into it. And I think a lot of the foundation of that for me was built when I was a baby in music together, because we said it's like a music circle, but then there's so many more layers on it. And I think one of the big differentiators for music together versus another program similar to it is the idea that they're taking different elements from different cultures and different styles of music around the entire world.
Right,
and
the diversity of the curriculum,
yeah,
the diversity of the songs.
Which is super cool.
Absolutely. And they've even become, more attuned to that over time, because there's, a few new tunes from Russia. I mean, there's Don Alfredo Baila, right?
Oh, that's the best.
That's the best. Nagoon, right?
What is that?
It's like a klezmer kind of song.
Cool.
You must have missed that collection, I guess.
I haven't taught. What is this, Sticks?
The Sticks, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've taught Sticks yet.
Yeah, so there's a few others. This one here is, I think it's Mandarin. Love Song of Kang Ding, like that. So that's a Mandarin song. And my nephew is actually dating he lives in Hong Kong. My nephew lives in Hong Kong. So I asked him to ask Anna's your girlfriend.
Maria's my girlfriend.
Oh, Anna. Oh, so I was right. So Anna, who's Chinese, if she knew the song, and she said, "Oh yeah, that's a song that my grandmother knew."
Wow.
So she wasn't anything more from that. So I don't know if she wasn't that impressed with the song or
but it's
something that, so that's how
that's super cool.
Right. The curriculum has really diverse music,
Yeah,
and they say that what they, the studies have said, if you introduce young children to the various different kinds of music and cultures and stuff like that, mm-hmm. when they get older, they're more able to listen to that material, without saying mm-hmm. just it's different, I don't like it. They say, oh, it could be that it's different and I remember this,
Yeah.
It's different and it's okay, which is what a great thing.
Yeah, I know I'm just one case study, but if you look at what Music Together focuses on developing in young children, because it's not just a music class, it's really built to develop a child, the early childhood development with music, but also, and maybe it's not as upfront about it, but also with language, I think.
Oh yeah.
There's, most of the songs are in English, but there's...
Yeah, there are other languages, but many pediatricians have suggested, when there's a language delay with a child, mm-hmm. they'll suggest Music Together classes. They'll say, hey, often, in fact, we've got somebody right now, we have a pediatrician, she's a grandmother, and her granddaughter is in music class. She's in Pat's class, my wife's class. And and we've had that happen a lot. So language delays are pretty common, I guess, so music definitely makes a difference. And I think if you go back 100 years, people were doing music anyway. Mm-hmm. They just did music around the piano, or they just sang it more, just more comfortably. They just were more free and sang it, and kids would just pick up to that music, the songs.
Yeah, and now I'm seeing, well, not that I've been around, too long.
Yeah.
But it seems like there is a little bit of a shift going on from music being something that you do for yourself and your family, and you're meant to make it and enjoy it, to something that should be performed and preserved.
Yeah. So that's a long time ago. So my understanding, and I think this is true, as soon as recordings were made, then they became, that's the people who do the recordings, and they want them to be, perfect. They want them to be as really good as they can get, so you can try it over and over again. And then we've become, the technology of the time is that we have everything from auto tune now, where if your voice is just a little bit out of pitch, we can let the computer fix it. But, so it's separated. I think it's separated lay people from music performers. Yeah. And what we're trying to do is just make it okay for everybody.
Yeah. Diminishing that separation between the music makers and the music listeners.
Yes.
They should be the same.
Yeah. We're all music. We're all musicians. I was going to say musicians or something.
Musicians.
You're right. Yeah, that's a new word, I think.
I like it.
Coin it. Copyright it quick.
Yeah, right.
We're all musicians. We're all musicians, so therefore, just have fun playing. You know?
But
it's funny even within small demographics. Like, so I have this area in Massachusetts, but if I do classes in Hudson, well, maybe we shouldn't mention names, but of towns, but certain towns are less comfortable with participating in music than others,
Yeah.
So you have certain towns, when you get to that town, they're just not going to sing as loud.
Yeah.
Or you go to a different town. Hudson's great. That's why I'm saying that. I mean, Maynard's pretty good too. So it's the other towns.
Yeah. And okay. So big draw of music together is it's a global, worldwide company in 36 different countries or something crazy like that.
Yeah, I don't even know now, but
it's going
all over the place,
all over the world, and we're all playing the same songs at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was fun. So I went to, I was in France for a while, and I contacted the Music Together director of Paris. And I said, hey, I teach these classes sometimes. Is there any way I can help out? And she said, of course. And I ended up teaching a weekly class in Paris for a month, which is awesome. But speaking of, differences between towns of, certain towns are more or less willing to. France is they're very, what's the word?
Withheld?
Yeah, they're very withheld. They're not as sort of extroverted as we are, I guess.
Expressive.
Over here, yeah. So to be fair, a lot of the parents were American, but...
I was going to say, it's also kind of a small sample, but...
Yeah.
So you could have the same phenomenon happening there, whereas this suburb of Paris is really... expressive and out there, and this suburb of Paris is really, they hold back.
But I do think that in France in general, it's just a different vibe.
Yeah.
When you're a musician. For example, I forget if I told you this story, but I was at an open mic night in Paris, and I did a little bit of performing, but I was mostly going there to scout artists and to try to convince them to hire me to record them, which I did. A couple different people. It was fun, but there was one guy I went up to. He had an amazing voice. Look, he sings better than I'll ever sing in my life.
Yeah.
And I sing in public. I perform. So he's up there, and I go, once he gets down, I'm like, oh wow, that was awesome. Do you write music? I'd love to record a song with you if you're interested. And he goes, no, I don't write music. I have a job. And that little conversation right there just gives you a lot of insight of, I think, what Europe in general, their attitude towards music. I also heard, I was working with a rock school over there for a little while. They were saying that, and it was, okay, yeah. So I was working with a rock school in Paris, but it was owned and run mostly by Americans. Because they were sort of trying to bring
it's like an American franchise, it sounds like, or something.
Yeah. It's weird. It's a community of American expats and then other foreigners who are living in France. But then there's also French families and kids in the mix. But the owner was telling me that a lot of the time they spend a year with just music theory before they pick up an instrument.
Oh.
Which is...
Why?
Yeah, right?
Well, I was just telling you about Jeff, right?
Yeah.
He knows very little, and he's a great pianist.
But I mean, if anything, it should be the other way around, I think.
Right, just right. I don't know.
But this is something that I see Music Together tackling, right? Is the attitude of, if you're going to be a musician, you better be good. You better really put everything you have into it. And Music Together is, I think, successfully saying, well, no, chill. Just have fun, make music, hang out with your friends and family. It doesn't matter if it sounds good or bad. Sometimes it's more fun when it sounds bad.
Right.
But why do you have to restrict yourself, you know?
Yeah, and if it does sound bad and you're laughing at it, you know?
Yeah. And it's
you're kind of like, yeah, exactly.
I mean,
at the same time, having the opportunity to know the difference between what sounds good and what doesn't sound good, or you know, if you want to be better and if you want to get it to be more perfect, then you're more intentional about that being perfect, and you have a choice. I guess there's different. You know, what's the final purpose of it? Yeah. You know.
Well, there's definitely a certain amount of discipline that you should put into music if you're trying to be a rock star.
Yeah.
Or playing in a pit or...
Yeah, right.
But as far as, you know, kids under 10...
Yeah, absolutely. Or even, right.
Yeah, who cares? Just
even
have
people,
fun.
Even people in general, right. If you just want to get out there and have a drum circle, you know, that would be great. I'm actually trying to put a little thing together, a little drum circle. Yeah, maybe in the spring if I can.
An adult drum circle?
Yeah. Kind of I have a place for it. It's actually, I mean, this is off mic, I guess, but it's this place where I do yoga, and the woman has 3 kids, and all 3 kids have done Music Together classes.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm really, you know, I want to be supportive of her business, and I think I can get, you know, like an African drummer from Boston or Cambridge to come out and do like a drum circle, like drum classes, like on a Friday night.
I would sign up for that.
Yeah, right. You know, I know they do it in Harvard. There's this African drummer, his name is Musa, and he comes out to Harvard to a farm.
Harvard, Mass?
Mass, yeah. On Friday nights, and they have drum circles.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. And it's been happening for a long time. I don't think they do it every single Friday, but they've done it a lot. I mean, this is going on years and years, and I haven't made it up, but I ran into somebody who saw my pants.
Yes.
And that opened up the conversation.
Mr. Vic wears fun pants.
Right. These are Senegalese pants. And somebody mentioned, oh, those pants are from West Africa. And I said, yeah. They says, oh, we go and play drums over here. And I said, yeah, I heard about that.
Oh, cool.
So hopefully we'll get a little drum circle going.
Nice.
Could even do it out here.
Back here. On the porch.
Yes. So,
one of my... Wait, I'm trying to figure out how we can come into this so I can edit it later.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts about Music Together is I remember bringing in the big drums.
Yeah.
And everybody just sort of fighting a little bit for the biggest drum, but
that's good to know.
Just whacking them, and then going ahead and teaching some of these classes and seeing babies hitting a drum for the first time. And I saw it was in my memory, it was like a cartoon where the baby hit the drum and then his whole body started vibrating.
Right.
That's a really cool thing to watch.
Yeah, we did drums this week, you know, so each week of Music Together classes, we bring different instruments, as you know. And this week was my week to bring drums. And I'll go back, you know, when I first became aware of this, that I would have a 1-year-old or 18-month-old or, you know, somewhere around that age. And I would hit the... Edit that one. I've got something in my throat.
You got to stop with the cigarettes.
I know it, really. But it brings me back to the first time I can remember hitting the drum twice, you know, and the child echoing me and hitting it twice. And then me hitting it 3 times and the child echoing me and hitting it 3 times and me hitting it 4 times and the 18-month-old's now hitting it 4 times, you know.
And that's such a cool thing to
watch. So great. Yeah, it is. It really is. It's a way of communicating without words, you know.
Yeah.
I guess that's the way And that was the dream for me in the beginning, was allowing children to express themselves through music or dance or anything like that. That was really the beginning of the whole dream, to provide a class like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. What it looked like. And I wrote it down on a little card. You write your goals down on cards, throw them away or hide them somewhere and find them later on. And I found it later on. And that's what it said. It says, I want to create an opportunity for children to express themselves through music. And 5 years later, I found, I'm doing that.
Yeah, I'd call that a success so far.
No, absolutely. Right. So, yeah, I'm always thinking about what's next, but so are you.
It's true. So, yeah, I mean, there's some, the values that seem like we can share very deep down is having fun playing music, enjoying the music outside of our own tiny bubble geographically, developing language through music, and then just really loving the whole process. And music together was a great way for us to get there and us to try to make a difference in that way.
Yeah, I think how many music together teachers there are, and how many music together centers there are, and how many kids are being impacted by this.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm just my small little center, and I hear it all the time. I hear, oh yeah, my kids are doing this. Their first violin, and this, and some kids don't follow that musical path, but it doesn't mean that it didn't impact their brain and their creativity, So however the classes went for them, it's still, we know science-wise, we know that music opens up new neural pathways and helps kids think better and more creatively. So we know that's occurring scientifically. That's the other thing that's cool right now. There are a lot of studies prior to, I don't know if it was prior to Music Together, but definitely prior to Music Together, which was founded in like 1987. There weren't a lot of studies and a lot of interest in that area of birth through 5. And then along comes Music Together and a few other programs. And now there's more interest in it, and therefore more interest and more opportunities to make money. So therefore more scientific studies and more money to be contributed for those studies. And I just read a study, this week, that I think it was an MIT study that said what would be better for a child, like a tween kind of age, middle school up and through high school. Would it be better to give them classes around coding, coding computer language and stuff like that, or would it be better to teach them music lessons?
Do you have to choose?
Right. No, right. Do you have to choose? I'd like to do both too. But they found that, if you only had one to do, the music lessons would be better for the child.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how you measure that.
I don't know, but it's literally, a double-blind study with accurate results, I guess you'd say.
Cool.
Yeah. I'll find it for you.
Yeah. There's something I was going to say. Well, it's still recording, so that's good. We're at about 38 minutes.
Yeah, I don't.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, or call it?
No, there's got to be I think there should be something else we talk about.
Have we just ran out of things to talk about for?
Well, I don't think so. Let's go on with your progression in music. I don't know if you want this to be an autobiography, but it could be. You could. You're only 22, but now
23.
23? Is that your last birthday? Now you're at the point. It was pretty amazing seeing you perform Saturday night. That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So of course the Mexican restaurant that I worked at when I was 15. Now sometimes I'll play music there. And Mr. Vic came and he brought the whole family, his wife and his kids, and it was great. Oh, that was a fun night.
Yeah, it was great. And I was definitely, it was like a notch up for me to see you in that realm. You've learned a lot about performing. You know, part of it is just go with it and do it. Like I love that attitude that you have. But it sounded good. You know, some of them, you know, when you sang the Sweet Caroline songs and you sang the Don McLean American Pie song, and you know, you did all those things that people want to hear, which was great. But then you did some stuff for the kitchen.
Yes,
you know, Spanish tunes and stuff like that.
Which was by the that's basically how I learned how to speak the language too. Is by I don't know if we've talked about it, but the
you
guy
think the song started. Working with them?
Well, when I was waiting tables there, a guy would come and he'd play guitar and he'd sing, and I'd have these songs stuck in my head, and I'd be singing them, and I was like, what does La Bamba mean? And you know, I'd look it up, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, there's so many words that I know, I just don't know what they mean, but they're stuck in the back of my head, you know. So, but even now, sometimes I'll think like, how do I say give back, and then it's devuélveme, because there's a song devuélveme a mi chi. So it's fun how we can learn a language through music without even understanding that we know it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so I love playing those songs whenever I can find an excuse to, because it's sort of, I don't know, it makes me nostalgic a little bit. Like, man, this is sort of where it all started, was listening to these songs.
Yeah, and you're able to get by and run around Spain and communicate with people.
Yeah, and that was fun. And street performing in Spain was a blast.
Yeah,
I was doing a lot of rumba music, so like the Gypsy Kings, you know them?
Yes, I do.
Volare and Bamboleo. And so, but I think actually that those 3 months of, you know, running around Europe and street performing in every city I could, including, you know,
that helped your performing
including
skills.
Getting in trouble for making
stealing. But, they took your guitar, right?
The cops. Yeah, we'll go into that at some point. But my guitar got confiscated by the police in Spain at one point. But there was a very specific moment that happened over the summer where I was in Barcelona, and I was standing in front of a church. I was standing sort of up on the steps, which I wasn't supposed to be performing there, but whatever. And I was singing. I think I was singing Volare, and I just belted out a note, and it completely came out as a squeak, like the worst, you know, teenage boy, but the voice change. It was so humiliating. And then 3 seconds later, I was like, all right, cool. Like, it's not getting any worse from that. And just screaming that big mistake for the entire country to hear, as just this like random kid who's, you know, infiltrating their touristic-y city.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I have nothing to be afraid of or ashamed of later. And to be honest, within 30 seconds, I'm pretty sure everybody forgot. So
Right.
So then I came back. I'm like, you know what? I don't care if I make mistakes as much. I mean, I'll practice and I'll try, but I'd rather take a risk and play a song that I might mess up than just play the ones I've been playing for for years.
And I don't know if so where you were playing, you had groups of people around you also?
I had, so at this day particular, I was at sort of like an outdoor market. So it was in front of a church, and there was a lot of vendors and people selling stuff, but there was no music. I was like, we need music. So, everybody.
Have you found that you can get a sense of what the crowd is looking for or interested in?
Yeah, totally.
Well, they'll make a request. I mean, that's the simplest way. They'll make a request of a song. But that's what I found, you know, in my live performances with kids, is that I've come to trust the environment or the wishes of the audience. Mm-hmm. you know, somebody will make a request and I'll say, oh, that's perfect. You know, we'll do that the song after next, you know, because I know the flow of what I want to have happen now, you know. So live performance, I think, like you said, the more you do live performance, the more you start to understand how to work the audience, you know?
Which is that's I mean, there's being a good musician, and then there's performing, and those are almost completely separate things.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, even the famous dudes, you know, like the John Mayers or the Rolling Stones or whoever from one place to another. How do you work that audience, you know, or even the club performer? And it's a really good performer, you know. So that's the thing. You did really well that Saturday night.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That was fun, and Pat liked it too. So she's more critical.
Nice. Yeah.
As you know.
But it is fun going from street performing exclusively without amplification, without a microphone, with, you know, I had the percussion instruments on my feet, so I was like jumping around and dancing it was just a big look at me, you know, trying to grab attention to the show at the restaurant, which was just, I don't even have to do anything exciting because everybody is forced to listen to me anyway. Like, what are you gonna leave?
Yeah, right.
No,
right.
So, but then there's a responsibility there too, where it's like, man, I better not. You know, if I'm playing in the street and I do a song and I mess it up, whatever. Right. But if I'm in a restaurant and you're getting paid, and more than anything else, the people have to listen to you.
Yeah.
So you sort of have a responsibility to not be too hard to listen to, which sometimes I feel like I might not follow through, but it's all fun.
No, I think, no, absolutely. You were great that night. It was impressive. You know, it was impressive. It was fun. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see when you go to Columbia.
Yeah. So 4 days.
Is it now? Sure.
Yeah, on Wednesday.
Well, that's so great that we have FaceTime and all that stuff.
It is. And we can continue the show when I'm down there, which would be super cool.
As soon as we figure out what the show is.
As soon as we, yeah. Maybe we'll just call it Ben or Mr. Vic and Ben
talk.
Throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, I think, again, it's the horse before the cart. You got to find out what the purpose, the final, you know, what are we trying to do? And then you edit it. But like you've got something to work with here.
Yeah. And I heard this today in a YouTube video, and I really agree with it. It's if you just make stuff that you really like and care about, don't worry about scaling, don't worry about selling. Just make stuff that you really like, and people will find it. And people will catch on.
Yeah.
So whether we have a music theme and you know, go off topics, and I don't know.
Well, for a second there, I thought we were gonna we could talk about just what it is to be a musician.
Oh boy,
you know,
I think that's a topic for another episode.
Just these days, I mean, see, we could, and you could also do like Konstantin was doing. But more specifically, like he's doing all businesses. Mm-hmm. You could do something just on music, and you said that the people in France said, "Oh yeah, I do music on, you know, but that's not my real job, right?"
Yeah.
How do you make it your real job?
Yeah, we should definitely
do a podcast.
You could do a whole series on that, but we should do an episode or two about. About making. Well, okay. The only piece of advice I've ever really took with me and listened to all these years has been what you told me, which is, if you love something enough, you'll find a way to make money from it.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, because that was a point in time where I was really stressed, and I was probably in middle school or early high school, but I was still thinking about college because
everybody does
have an issue. Yeah.
Right.
Do I want to study music production or this and that? And you're like, just chill.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out. Just do something you like, and the money will come.
Yeah.
And actually, so far, that's kind of been working. Yeah.
Right. And now that I'm older and wiser, I'd say, once you find out where the money's coming from, put it someplace.
Yeah.
put it someplace safe.
Yeah.
You know, or
under my mattress.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's a good place for it. With inflation at 5%, that's good. Well, Well, Ben, it was just really great talking to you.
Yeah, no, it's nice that we can turn these conversations that we normally have into
Absolutely.
into some sort of show.
I think we should just carry this around, just use that all the time.
I was thinking about just recording in my car. But until the next episode.
This is Mr. Vic.
And this is Ben. Thanks for tuning in.
Have fun.